Chosen one, listen closely. Every tear that fell from your eyes was not wasted. Every silent cry, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer you thought went unheard. Heaven recorded them all. You thought you were weeping in vain, but those tears were seeds. Seeds sown in the soil of faith. Seeds that have been watered by your perseverance and nurtured by your pain. And now, the season is shifting. God is sending the harvest. You have walked through valleys where no one could follow you. You've stood in storms that should have broken you. Yet somehow, you're still here standing, breathing, and believing. That's not by accident. That's divine proof that purpose was protecting you all along. You didn't lose your mind because grace held it together. You didn't drown in despair because God was keeping you afloat, even when you couldn't see His hand. There's a reason you've been feeling the stirring lately. The restlessness in your spirit, the quiet anticipation that something is about to change. It's because heaven has already spoken your name in the realm of manifestation. The tears you cried became the language that moved angels into assignment. And now as you hear this message, something in your soul will recognize it. You will know it's for you. You will feel the resonance deep in your chest, because this is not coincidence. This is divine confirmation. God is saying, you have entered your reaping season. You may not see the full picture yet, but every delay was divine preparation. Every disappointment was redirection. Every heartbreak was pruning to make room for fruit. The season of emptiness was never meant to end in loss. It was meant to end in overflow. So as you listen today, open your heart. Let your spirit be still and receptive, for this is not just another message, it is a decree. The same God who saw your tears will now make you dance in joy. The same ground that once held your pain will soon birth your promise. Your story is about to change chapters. Your waiting is about to make sense. You are not forgotten. You are being rewarded. The harvest is near, chosen one. God has seen every seed, and the time of rain has come. You've waited through long nights, wondering if God still remembered your name. You've looked at the sky and whispered, "Did you see what I went through?" And heaven answered, not with noise, but with timing. Because sometimes silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. There were seasons when God hid His hand, not because He abandoned you, but because He was preparing to reveal Himself in a greater way. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were being formed. The potter never leaves the clay midway through the molding. He keeps shaping until it reflects His purpose. And you, beloved soul, were on His wheel the entire time. The one who counts the stars also counted your tears. Every sigh, every ache, every unspoken plea was heard in the language only heaven understands. And while you were crying on earth, something was growing in the invisible realm. God was cultivating your harvest in silence. This message comes to you now, not as mere words, but as a divine echo, a confirmation of what your spirit already knows, but your mind has struggled to believe. There is a movement in the atmosphere. The ground beneath your waiting is stirring. The heavens are aligning. The same God who allowed the breaking will now command the blooming. He is saying, the season of mourning has served its purpose. Now the season of manifestation begins. You see, God does not waste pain. He never allows sorrow without strategy. The very things that made you weep were cultivating humility, compassion, and spiritual authority within you. Those nights when you felt alone, He was teaching you to depend on light you couldn't see. When you were stripped of comfort, He was proving that what He placed inside you was enough. The divine message for this hour is not about what you lost, it's about what's being restored. Heaven has issued a decree. The seeds of sorrow are breaking open, and the rain of reward has been released. Your harvest is not coming from man. It's coming from the God who saw you when no one else did. Right now, even as these words are spoken, angels are on assignment. They are moving in the direction of your faith, gathering what belongs to you. The delay has expired. The spiritual soil that once looked barren is beginning to vibrate with life again. And this is the proof of it. Your spirit recognizes truth. You feel the pull of destiny, even now the quiet confirmation that the word is for you. That's not imagination. That's revelation. You are hearing heaven's heartbeat translated into language your soul can understand. So be still for a moment. Take a deep breath. Let the weight of His presence settle over you. You are about to see why it all had to happen the way it did. The same tears that watered your wilderness will now baptize your breakthrough. Your harvest is not far away. It's unfolding right now, even as you listen. There is a moment in every divine story when what was hidden in mystery begins to unfold in plain sight. You are standing in that moment now. The unseen roots that have been growing beneath your pain are breaking through the surface. What you thought was loss was actually germination. What you thought was the end was only the soil closing over a seed. The Lord is saying, I have seen your sorrow, and I have measured your endurance. The tears you shed in secret have not gone unnoticed. They watered the very ground that now carries your blessing. In the spiritual realm, your tears became a currency. They bought clarity. They purchased authority. Every drop that fell carried an assignment. It softened the hardened places of your heart so that divine instruction could take root. This is the hour when what has been planted in pain will rise in power. Heaven has declared a harvest over your name. Where you once wept over closed doors, you will soon rejoice over open gates. Where you once walked alone, divine partnerships will appear. The same places that echoed with silence will now resound with celebration. You will see divine reversals, relationships restored, opportunities resurrected, favor multiplied. And it will not come as a trickle. It will come as a flood. For God never returns a seed as it was sown. He multiplies it. There is a spiritual law at work. Every tear that falls from a surrendered heart carries life within it. It is not wasted. It seeps into the soil of destiny, and in time that soil responds. The delay was never denial. It was the maturing of your harvest. Imagine a field after long drought, cracked ground, empty horizon. Then the first drop of rain falls. The smell of earth rises. Something shifts. That's where you are right now. The rain has begun. What's been hidden in your spirit is about to sprout through the surface of your life. Doors that were sealed by divine restraint are unlocking one after another. Blessings that seemed impossible will appear suddenly as if they've been waiting behind a veil for the right moment to reveal themselves. And when it happens, it will feel familiar because your soul has already seen it in dreams and visions. Those flashes of hope that visited you in the dark were glimpses of your harvest. They weren't fantasies. They were previews. God is faithful to every tear, every trial, every whispered "help me." You may not have understood the process, but the process understood you. It shaped you for this very unveiling. This is not just a season of recovery. It is a season of reversal. Where there was lack, there will be overflow. Where there was rejection, there will be recognition. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. And you'll know it's God because it will happen in ways you couldn't orchestrate. You won't have to force it. It will unfold naturally, gracefully, divinely. The same way a flower knows when to bloom, your destiny knows when to manifest. This word is not a distant promise, it's an unfolding reality. The ground beneath your faith is trembling with new life. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet awareness that something is about to shift in your favor. It's not coming, it's here. The harvest has begun. When God plants something in your life, He often buries it first. Not to hide it from you, but to protect it while it grows. That's the divine paradox of the kingdom. What feels like loss is often preparation. What looks like silence is often strategy. You have to understand this. God never wastes soil. If He allowed you to be buried in a season of darkness, it was because something sacred was germinating beneath the surface. In the language of heaven, your tears were not just emotions, they were irrigation. Every drop carried life, cleansing the soil around your soul, softening the ground, where purpose was waiting to emerge. You thought you were breaking down, but you were actually breaking open. That's how God works. He hides potential in pain. He wraps destiny in delay. He uses storms to reveal what can't be shaken. And when He is finished, you come forth not bitter, but purified. Not empty, but full of divine strength. You see, there's a rhythm to every divine process. First comes the planting, then the pressing, and finally the producing. The planting is when God gives you a promise. The pressing is when life tests that promise. And the producing is when heaven fulfills it. You've already endured the first two. Now comes the third, the time of harvest. But understand this, the harvest is not simply about reward, it's about revelation. God is revealing Himself through your restoration. He's showing the world that He was faithful to you in the furnace. Your victory will not just speak of your endurance, it will declare His sovereignty. The spiritual meaning behind your tears runs deep. Tears are liquid prayers. When words fail, tears speak. When the heart is too heavy for language, tears carry the message straight to heaven's throne. That's why Scripture says God collects them in a bottle. Not one has been forgotten. They are evidence proof of your endurance, testimony of your faith. The tears you cried in private became divine ink on the pages of your destiny. They wrote a story heaven is now ready to publish in your life. Think about the seasons you've survived, the dry stretches where hope felt like a memory. Those weren't wasted years. They were the wilderness of becoming. God led you there to detach you from what could not come with you into your next chapter. Every disappointment, every delay, every betrayal, they were pruning tools. Pain was the gardener, but purpose was the fruit. Storms didn't come to destroy you. They came to water you. The thunder you feared was actually the announcement of new growth. The lightning that frightened you was heaven illuminating what needed to be released. You have been walking through divine seasons, even when it felt chaotic. There was winter, when everything seemed lifeless. But beneath the surface, roots grew deeper. There was spring when faint signs of hope began to emerge, though fragile and uncertain. There was summer when faith demanded endurance through heat and pressure. And now comes autumn, the time of gathering the season of divine recompense. Every stage served its purpose. Every season built something inside you that nothing can take away. The fruit you are about to bear isn't ordinary. It's prophetic. It carries the DNA of endurance. And remember, the harvest isn't only what you receive, it's who you become. You have become more patient, more discerning, more spiritually attuned. You've learned to pray without words, to trust without evidence, to love without guarantees. That's what heaven calls maturity. The deeper truth is this: your harvest is not a transaction, it's a transformation. It's not just about receiving blessings, it's about stepping into divine identity. You've been prepared to carry influence, to speak life, to restore others who will walk through the same darkness you've overcome. Because this was never just about you, it was about everyone who will find healing through your testimony. You are the living proof that faith survives the flood. So when the blessings begin to appear, don't just say finally, say faithfully. Because God was faithful even when you couldn't see it. The tears you cried were never wasted. They baptized you into purpose. They sealed a covenant between your pain and your promise. And now heaven whispers again, the ground is ready. The seed has matured. The rain has fallen. It is time to harvest. When heaven begins to move, the evidence first shows up quietly. God rarely announces miracles with thunder. Instead, he whispers through patterns, nudges, and moments that feel both ordinary and divine at once. You are already surrounded by signs, subtle confirmations, that your harvest is unfolding right before your eyes. One of the first signs is inner peace after long unrest. There comes a morning when the anxiety that used to grip your chest suddenly loosens. You can't explain it logically, but you feel lighter, freer, calmer. That peace isn't random, it's prophetic. It's the Spirit confirming that heaven has shifted things in your favor. The storm is no longer inside you because God has already calmed it around you. The second sign is divine alignment. People and opportunities start showing up unexpectedly. Conversations that once led nowhere now open doors. The right voices begin to enter your path, while the wrong ones fade without confrontation. This is not coincidence, it's choreography. Heaven is rearranging the stage for your next act. The third sign is unusual favor in familiar places. Doors that refuse to open before begin to respond. Situations that seemed unchangeable start bending toward your good. Sometimes it's a promotion that comes out of nowhere. Other times it's a person extending grace or an old dream reigniting in your heart. That's the sound of your harvest breaking through the soil. Soft, steady, undeniable. The fourth sign is renewed spiritual sensitivity. You begin hearing God more clearly through scripture, through dreams, through impressions in your spirit. You may wake up at night with sudden clarity or find tears flowing during worship for no reason. That's your spirit resonating with divine timing. It's heaven saying, "Stay awake, something holy is happening." The fifth sign is confirmation through repetition. You'll start noticing recurring numbers, phrases, songs, or symbols that all point to increased restoration or new beginnings. Maybe you keep seeing the number 7, or you hear the same scripture from multiple sources. Pay attention. God uses patterns to get your attention when your heart is ready to receive. And finally, there's the sign of holy expectancy. You can feel it even now, a quiet confidence that something is near. It's that sacred knowing that the waiting wasn't wasted. You sense that the air around you is charged with promise. That awareness is not imagination. It's spiritual discernment. Your spirit recognizes what your eyes have not yet seen. These are the whispers of fulfillment. These are heaven's fingerprints on your timeline. When you begin to notice them, don't dismiss them as coincidence. Speak gratitude. Every sign you acknowledge multiplies in your awareness. When you say, "I see you," God, you align yourself with His movement. You are not waiting for the miracle anymore. The miracle is unfolding piece by piece. The ground is speaking back to the seeds you've sown. And if you're wondering whether you've truly entered the new season, let this be your confirmation. The same tears that once marked your pain will soon mark your joy. The evidence is all around you. Heaven has begun to move. Before every harvest, there is always one final test, a quiet proving ground between promise and fulfillment. Many mistake this stage for setback, but it is actually sacred preparation. The soil trembles before the breakthrough because what's about to emerge carries weight. You might notice that right before the blessing arrives, things can feel strangely unstable. Doors may shake, relationships may shift, and situations once clear may suddenly blur. That's not because you've lost direction. It's because heaven is aligning every piece for manifestation. What looks like resistance is really refinement. These hidden challenges are not punishments, they're confirmations. They are the final pressure points that prove you are ready for what you prayed for. The first challenge often comes as a test of faith in silence. When everything around you grows quiet again, and you wonder if the promise has stalled, God is watching to see if you'll still believe without visible proof. The silence that once broke you now becomes your sanctuary. When you can praise through uncertainty, you prove that your trust is rooted, not circumstantial. The second challenge is spiritual distraction. As harvest draws near, the enemy often sends noise, confusion, offense, unnecessary battles to pull your focus from the promise. Suddenly, things that once didn't matter start demanding your attention. That's your cue to stand still. The enemy doesn't fight what isn't close to breakthrough. The third challenge comes as emotional fatigue. You've waited long, believed deeply, and now you feel weary. That's because you've been carrying the weight of expectancy. But hear this truth: weariness is not weakness. It's the body's signal that the soul has labored in faith. God sees your exhaustion, and He is sending strength even now. The fourth challenge is the illusion of regression. Sometimes, right before the promise manifests, situations may temporarily worsen. Doors may close, finances may tighten, relationships may be tested. But don't panic. The seed always experiences the most pressure right before it breaks the ground. The moment things seem to fall apart is often when heaven is rearranging everything for your good. And finally, the last challenge, the test of humility. God often blesses those who can remain grounded when glory comes. The same tears that brought you here will remind you to handle harvest with grace. This test ensures that you steward increase with gratitude, not pride. So when you encounter resistance, remember this: it's not a sign that you're off course. It's proof that you're near completion. Diamonds only shine after pressure. Gold only glows after fire. You are being refined to reflect divine light. Do not grow weary. Do not doubt. Your struggles are not breaking you, they are birthing you. Every challenge is heaven's confirmation that your story is reaching fulfillment. And soon, when you look back, you will realize that even your trials were sowing into the same field as your tears. The harvest you're about to reap will be so abundant, you'll understand why the soil had to be broken first. Now that heaven has declared your harvest, the next question is, how do you prepare your hands to receive it? Because the blessing may already exist in the spiritual realm, but manifestation requires alignment. God releases what you're ready to steward, not just what you've asked for. So here is the divine instruction for this season. These are not casual suggestions. They are sacred steps, keys that unlock the doors already swinging open before you. Step 1: guard your atmosphere. As your harvest draws near, discernment becomes your shield. Not everyone can walk with you into this next chapter. Some voices carry doubt, others carry delay. Be gentle, but be firm. Protect your peace as though it were treasure, because it is. If your spirit feels unsettled around certain people or situations, listen to that signal. It's heaven's alarm, not paranoia. God is calling you into environments that water your growth, not drain your roots. Step 2: speak as if it's already done. Words are seeds too. Every declaration you make plants something in the soil of your future. Begin to speak life over yourself daily. Say, my harvest is here. My steps are ordered. My time has come. You're not pretending, you're prophesying. Faith does not wait to see before speaking. It speaks until it sees. Step 3: make room. You cannot receive the new while holding on to the old. Clean your spiritual, emotional, and even physical spaces. Release what no longer aligns with your assignment. That could mean old habits, draining relationships, or even clutter that carries the energy of past seasons. Clearing space is an act of faith. It tells God, I'm ready for what's next. Step 4: move when prompted. The Spirit may begin giving you small nudges. Start that project, call that person, forgive that wound, step into that idea you've been afraid of. Don't overthink it. Obedience is the bridge between prophecy and fulfillment. Each step you take, even the smallest one, activates the next layer of divine favor. Step 5. Sow again, but this time with joy. You once sowed with tears, now sow with expectation. Give encouragement, share wisdom, bless others, pray for strangers. Every act of generosity becomes a ripple that returns multiplied. The more you pour, the more heaven pours back. Remember, your harvest is not just about receiving, it's about overflowing. Step 6. Stay anchored in gratitude. Gratitude turns waiting into worship. Even before the promise arrives, begin thanking God for it. Gratitude shifts your frequency. It keeps you aligned with divine flow. The grateful heart becomes a magnet for miracles. Say often, even in the unseen, I trust you. Step 7. Keep your eyes on purpose, not possessions. Harvest is not only about material blessings, it's about alignment with divine assignment. When you focus too much on the outcome, you can miss the transformation. Remember, you were chosen not only to receive, but to reveal God's goodness through your story. You are the vessel, not the prize. And finally, step 8, rest in assurance. After sowing, after praying, after standing, rest. Trust that what you've prayed for is already in motion. Faith is not frantic, it's steady. It doesn't chase, it attracts. Rest is not laziness, it's confidence that God will do what He promised. These divine instructions are heaven's blueprint for manifestation. Follow them, not out of fear, but out of love. Each one brings your spirit into harmony with what's unfolding. Understand this truth. Obedience is the rhythm of the miraculous. When your actions align with divine timing, heaven accelerates what once felt delayed. And as you walk in these steps, something powerful happens. You begin to embody the promise. You no longer chase breakthrough. You become breakthrough. So lift your head. Keep your heart pure and your faith active. The instruction has been given. The soil is ready. The rain has already fallen. Now all that's left is for you to reap. Even as the harvest approaches, God does not send you into abundance without protection. The same divine hand that carried you through storms will now cover you in peace. You are not stepping into blessing alone. You are escorted by grace. There is a sacred covering surrounding your life. You may not see it, but it is there like an invisible fortress built from every prayer you've ever whispered. Every time you cried, "Lord, keep me," a wall of light rose higher around you. Every time you forgave when you could have fought, heaven strengthened your shield. Now, as you move into your season of manifestation, you will begin to feel that protection more tangibly. The anxiety that once haunted you will lose its grip. The fear that used to follow you will start to fade. That's because divine peace isn't just a feeling. It's armor. It guards your mind when the world tries to stir doubt. It anchors your heart when distractions whisper lies. You will notice how situations that used to break you no longer touch you the same way. That's not indifference, it's elevation. You've been lifted above the chaos. You are seeing from a higher place now. The warfare that once surrounded you has lost access because you've stepped into a new frequency of faith. God's protection is not just around you, it's within you. His Spirit inside you is a constant counselor, warning you when danger lurks, guiding you towards safety, whispering when to move and when to wait. That inner peace that says, stay or go. That's not intuition. That's divine guidance. And you can rest in this truth. Nothing can reach you without passing through the hands of the one who guards you. Every attack has already been intercepted, every scheme already seen and dismantled. You are walking under a decree of preservation. The scripture says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That shadow is not darkness, it's shelter. When you feel hidden, you're actually being protected. When God conceals you, He is not withholding. He is safeguarding the promise until it's ready to shine. Even now, angels are positioned around your destiny. They stand like sentinels at the borders of your purpose. Wherever you go, divine order follows. Wherever you step, light precedes you. So release the worry. You don't have to force what God has already fortified. You don't need to fight battles that have already been won in the Spirit. Your only task is to stay close, to remain aligned with the one who shields you. Take comfort in knowing this. You have survived what was meant to destroy you. And because of that, nothing ahead can undo you. The same God who guarded your tears will now guard your triumph. You are safe in His timing. You are secure in His promise. You are covered in His love. And then almost quietly it happens. Not with fanfare or fireworks, but with the still certain shift of destiny turning in your favor. You wake up one morning and something feels different, not outside but within. The weight you once carried is gone. The ache that used to echo inside you has softened into peace. What once felt impossible now feels inevitable. That, beloved, is transformation. The fulfillment of God's promise is rarely a single event, it is a dawning. The light starts faint, stretching across the horizon of your life until it covers everything. It touches your relationships, your work, your finances, your health, your very mindset. It's not just that blessings arrive, it's that you become the blessing. You begin to move differently, speak differently, think differently. You no longer beg life to be kind. You expect it to be because you've aligned yourself with divine flow. The same tears that once blurred your vision now water the garden of your gratitude. You start to see beauty where pain once stood. You find yourself thanking God not just for what He gave, but for what He took away, for the people who left the doors that closed, the prayers. He didn't answer because now you understand they were part of your protection. This is what fulfillment feels like. Peace replacing panic, purpose replacing confusion, praise replacing complaint. You begin to realize that your story was never about endurance alone. It was about evolution. The wilderness was not punishment. It was training. The waiting was not wasted. It was refinement. And as your harvest begins to manifest, others will notice it too. People who once overlooked you will now be drawn to your light. Some will ask, what changed? They won't understand that it wasn't luck, it was obedience. It wasn't timing, it was transformation. You'll see the fruits appear, opportunities that align perfectly, connections that feel divinely timed, and favor that follows you without explanation. It won't make sense logically because it was never meant to. This isn't the result of effort, it's the reward of endurance. In the fulfillment season, joy will find you easily. You'll smile without reason, laugh without fear, rest without guilt. You'll stop searching for signs and start being one. The same presence that comforted you in pain will now crown you with peace. And when you look back, you'll see the pattern, the thread of grace woven through every heartbreak, every detour, every sleepless night. You'll realize it was all sacred. You weren't being buried. You were being planted. You weren't being broken. You were being built. The transformation is not temporary. It's eternal. You'll never go back to who you were before this process. The version of you that cried through the night gave birth to the version that now stands tall in the light. You have become what heaven saw all along. This is your reaping season. This is your confirmation that God keeps every promise. The fruit is visible, the peace is tangible, and the testimony is undeniable. So stand tall, lift your head. Breathe in this moment. You've waited for it, prayed for it, survived for it. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your becoming. The tears you cried were never wasted. They became rivers leading you straight into your harvest. And now you are standing in the fulfillment of what heaven once whispered. Take a deep breath. You've walked through the storm, cried in the dark, and waded through the silence. Yet here you are standing at the edge of fulfillment. Heaven smiles upon your endurance. God has seen your faith, and He has called it enough. Now let these words seal your heart like oil poured over a weary soul. Repeat them aloud if you can. Speak them as declarations, not hopes, because faith is voice before it is victory. Affirmation 1. I am walking in divine timing. Nothing in my life is delayed. Everything is unfolding exactly as heaven designed. Affirmation 2. My tears were not wasted. They watered the soil of my purpose and made room for abundance to grow. Affirmation 3. I am protected, chosen, and equipped. What belongs to me cannot be stolen, and what is for me will not pass me by. Affirmation 4. My harvest is here. I receive it with gratitude, humility, and joy. Say these words until they feel like breath, until they settle deep in your spirit as truth. Because from this moment forward, you are no longer waiting for blessing, you are living in it. Let the peace of God rise within you like morning light. Let joy return to your laughter. Let hope bloom again in your thoughts. You have completed the season of tears. Now step boldly into the season of testimony. And now hear this blessing. May the same God who turned your mourning into dancing cause every barren place in your life to sing with joy. May the wind of favor blow open every gate that was once locked against you. May your name be remembered in rooms you never entered and honored in places you never imagined. May your hands never be empty again. May they overflow with enough to bless others. Wherever you go, may peace walk before you, may grace walk beside you, and may goodness follow after you. The heavens are open. The season is ripe. The promise is fulfilled. You are stepping into the reality of what you prayed for. Lift your eyes, your harvest surrounds you. Lift your heart, your purpose has arrived. Lift your praise because God has done it. And so it is.